Good evening and welcome back to Where the Owls Sleep. It's another Sunday sessions with myself and Stocky. How's it going, mate? You alright?
Yeah, all good, thank you. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. More of a chilled out weekend. Haven't done an awful lot, so can't complain, to be honest.
Nice.
Right,
Uh,
so obviously it's been FA Cup weekend. There's been a few nearly shocks, a few potential fairy tale stories, but nothing too exciting. Have you watched much of it?
nah, my viewing of FA Cup weekend was a little bit watered down. I had a weekend away with my better half where it was the first time she sat with me while I watched the West Ham game.
Oh, that must have been interesting.
Yeah, yeah, she seemed a bit worried when I really lost my shit at the second goal. She's like, I've never seen you like this before. And I said, well, I wasn't even that bad. She was a little bit. It was it was earlier on this morning. She said, "Yeah, when Villa got the second one, I didn't know where to look. I didn't know if I should say anything." She goes, "You just totally went." It's like I wasn't even that bad.
That was mild. I'm surprised it
Yeah.
was the second one that made you go off. I thought it'd be the first one, considering it were in the corner.
Uh yes. Do you know what? It's just one of them things. Do you know what? When it rains, it pours because obviously, like, uh, the whole nation watched Fulkrug's hamstring buddy tear off the bone.
Yeah.
And uh, Somerville going off as well. Well, apparently that was precautionary, which ain't too bad. It's funny. As soon as he done that tackle, I knew he'd done it
Mm.
because he went straight up to someone and give it the old. You know
Yeah.
when players have done something these days because they go like that, so they can't be lip read.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, it was all right. Let's not too worry. We can focus on our relegation battle now.
Yeah. You see anything that's gives you a little bit of hope early doors for the new manager?
Well, it's funny. We looked more organised in that first half than we have done all season, and a few of the players, looked like they wanted to play they wanted to play full stop for whether it be themselves, the manager, the club, the jersey, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Looked like there was a bit of effort, and um, like I say, I don't expect much, but I just want the players out there to, perform better than some of their parts, and we
Yeah.
did that. Unfortunately, the injuries caught up with us a little bit, and obviously Villa are a good side.
Yeah. They're a good team, aren't they?
Yeah, how was your game?
Uh, well, I predicted the score on the predictor thing that I do every week, so happy with that. It didn't. It kind of went how I thought it would. I didn't think they'd score first. I thought they'd score late, to be honest. But they we basically dominated the game. They scored with their first shot on target, pretty much their only shot on target, I think. And other than that, we just dominated the game, kept them at arm's length. Could have probably had six or seven.
Hmm.
It was a very professional performance, which is unlike Newcastle, which is what we're going to get into in a little bit. But yeah, it's very unlike Newcastle.
Sniffing a cup double this year, mate?
Oof. You can't really argue against it being on, to be fair, because we're a one-off game against anybody. We've shown that we can do what we need to do to get it won. So
Out of interest, who have you drawn in the fourth round?
away Birmingham. So
Oh,
league upper
it's
league.
League One. Top of League One. You should still be able to do. I
Yeah, yeah.
suppose with no other commitments, you can field as strong a side as you like.
Well, I think it's the game after the second leg of the semi against Arsenal. So
Well, fingers crossed you'll be buzzing for that.
yeah,
Is there any news on what footballs you're using for that second leg?
we're going to use a new sort of oval shaped thing instead, just to wind our tail
Uh,
up.
yeah, yeah. He's bringing balls from the training pitch because they'll be able to keep them ones under the bar.
Oh yeah, what a ridiculous statement to make, eh? But
Yeah.
it's Arsenal, innit? What more do you expect from Arsenal and Arteta?
Pressure. Pressure does funny things to people in football.
Yeah, 100%. While we're talking about the FA Cup, it's quite small on there, but any of them results popping out at you? I know you only watch your game. I watched a few. I watched.
Uh, there was. I thought it was interesting to see Man City properly smack Salford. Found that quite funny. So all the talk would have been about the old Manchester United boys out.
Yeah.
They got a good snap in. Old former West Ham player Divin Mumbamba scored his first goal for City from about a yard.
Is that the kid that you tipped
Yeah,
last season?
yeah. So he wouldn't renew his contract with us. So Moyes stopped playing him.
And he's
And
gone to City.
Man City picked him up on a free. Or
Wow.
not a free. You know those they do a court tribunal now, don't they?
Yeah, and it's like a nominal fee or whatever they call it.
He kept saying he wanted to go play first team football. You're like, well, why are you going to Man City?
Yeah, that's bonkers. It's crazy. He's gone to City though. To be fair, I didn't realise that.
He would have had quite a few games for us this year if he stayed. Although it's one of them things you don't know if he was how good he would have been. There weren't the greatest amount of shocks really yesterday. It was an amazing result for Plymouth. I'd say that was the biggest sort
Yeah,
of tilt your head back one yesterday, especially after their form under
yeah. Well, you've got bottom of the championship against Brentford, who have only just recently lost their first home game of the season. So
Mm,
you wouldn't have expected them to lose that. To be fair.
yeah. That was good to see. Apart from that, yesterday's results didn't throw up too much, did they? There were some walloping scores for Prem teams.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
oh
a few big ones. Leicester's a bit of a surprising one because QPR are in decent form.
yeah. Sunderland losing like top of the Champo. They lost to Stoke in extra
Stoke
time.
are only eighth or ninth though, isn't he? I think.
Oh well, I just knew that Sunderland were top.
Uh,
While we're on the subject of FA Cupping, how do you feel? What What are your thoughts about the lower league sides agreeing to stop the third round replays?
Um, it it depends if it financially if it's kind of financially benefits them and they've agreed to it, then fair play. If
Mm,
not, and it doesn't financially benefit them, I don't agree with it because there would have been a couple of teams that would have gone to replays this week, and the most notable one would have been Tamworth against Tottenham, which finished
yeah,
0-0 after 90 minutes, and that would
I
have been
mean,
massive for them.
not only would they got the half the gate receipt at Tottenham, you know that's going to be on TV again.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
then, sort of the flip side of it, as the smaller team, if I was managing the smaller team purely from the footballing sense, I've got to set my team up once to beat the bigger side. Am I going to back my team to get through extra time and take it to pens and potentially win it, or maybe even win it in extra time,
mm,
or go to a replay where you know the bigger team are going to come more prepared and you're more likely to lose it, really?
mm. Especially if you're going to their ground as well.
Yeah, so from that sort of point of view, it is probably a good thing because I reckon most of the smaller teams will think, right, we've got to get through 30 minutes and it's a shootout, or we can just win it in extra time.
Well, we say it like it's going to be a managers and players decision. This is all chairmans and league representatives that have decided this.
Yeah,
It's just to me, it feels a little bit of the big clubs saying, "Well, yeah, we'll dangle some more money being thrown down the pyramid if you agree to what we want." And unfortunately, because it's such a money-driven game these days, they have to take it, don't they?
yeah, they do. But then if they're financially compensated for it, then great because
Yeah,
they're obviously going to be financially compensated without the replay anyway.
mm,
So just the
yeah.
one-off game is going to do them a favour.
Mm. I'm just a bit old-fashioned. I do like a cut replay,
Oh yeah, 100%, totally agree. I love the cut replays, but
especially under lights.
hmm,
Just like you can feel it in your blood the day you go to it. It's just exciting.
yeah.
But oh well.
I
Since we're
suppose that while we're on it, nearly the most surprising result of the weekend was Tamworth. Well, it was because they took them 0-0, 90 minutes, and
mm,
in all fairness, they could have won it in normal time.
did you catch any of that game? Or I was keeping an eye on my phone of the score.
I watched pretty much all of it, to be honest, pretty much the whole game, and they fully deserved their draw. And I actually think if they'd won it, there could have not been any real grumbles, to be honest, because even Like the stats, when you look at them now, look a bit slanted because Tottenham played really well in extra time, but they brought on Son and Kulusevski at that point,
Yeah, imagine.
which was obviously going to spin the game. But it ended
Mm.
sort of level. I think they had 4 or 5 shots each in the game, 2 or 3 on target each. Like the long throw into the Tottenham box was causing them havoc. So were the corners.
That's really got to crank up the pressure on Ange not to beat Tamworth, no matter what side you put out, even if you put your Rezzies out.
Yeah, it's just bonkers.
Um, tell you what else I did see. I watched the penalty shootout with Arsenal and Man United.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um, did you notice David Raya diving like when you control the keepers on Pro and you've
yeah,
just got the dive button, he goes for a full whack dive with like the legs and everything. He
yeah.
done that every time,
And he
but
went
missed.
completely the wrong way. And
Wrong
there's
way.
one of them that's absolutely hilarious because he takes
Mm,
like a couple of like jockey steps before he does it, and it's just
mm.
ridiculous.
It was Shilton-esque goalkeeping at penalties. Like like for England, he'd all like in that penalty shootout against Germany, he successfully dived the wrong way every time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was weird because it was like he was doing it. Do you know when you see like idiot goalies that someone takes a shot that goes miles wide and they do the joke dive? It
yeah.
almost looked a bit like that.
Like he extended his full body because when you're I know we've both been in goal for penalty shootouts, whether it's like training or whatever.
Mm.
When you dive and you already know you've gone the wrong way, you just sort of like slope down to one knee and just slide.
Yeah, you just kind of
It-
phone the rest
yeah,
of it in, don't you? As soon as you know you've gone the wrong way.
yeah. You sort of just you spring off, but you already know the ball's going that way, so you just sort of kill it off and you just slide on your knees. He was
Yeah,
still like diving like he was going to reach.
yeah, he was going full length.
Mug.
Yeah. Arteta yet again coming out saying weird things after the game, proud of the boys and all of that.
Yeah.
Man United down to 10
Uh,
men through half hour of the game and extra time, and they still couldn't knock them out.
yeah, that's all right. Arsenal do what they always do. They'll release a new shirt or like a new training jacket in like some country's colours just to try and deflect.
Yeah, 100%.
Old retro kit FC.
But before we move on to the proper talking point of the evening, which is the old upsets, any of the draws for the next round that are massively jumping out? There's a few Prem draws in there. There's a few to be confirms, which are either games that were postponed or are tomorrow, which I can't remember who lines
Mm,
up against who, but I know it's either Derby or Orient against City. But outside of that, I can't remember who else is who, to be
yeah.
fair.
Well, that jumps out to me automatically.
Yeah.
In that, hopefully, if Orient do win that, I'll try and get a ticket to go over and see that. Do you know what? Liverpool going down to Plymouth
Yeah, I
will
was
be
going to say.
interesting.
Long old journey, depending on when that falls. Actually, that will fall the same as because Newcastle Birmingham is the weekend after the second leg of the semi final of the League Cup. So that'll
Mm,
be the same for Liverpool.
yeah, I'm kind of glad that maybe it's better for my health that West Ham lost to Villa because if we was playing at home at Tottenham in the FA Cup, um, I might actually explode. I might combust in the stand. Um, oh, it's nice. Brighton's old teams coming to face them. 'Cause half of them play for Chelsea now, don't they? So
Yeah, Brighton X11 against Brighton Albion.
yeah, but yeah, if well, to be fair, Derby hosting Man City would be good. But if Orient can beat Derby, although I feel sorry for Orient because Richie Wellings just got a manager of the month, so they're probably nailed on to lose, aren't they?
That is it. One of them curses that could potentially
Yeah,
instantly kick them out of the cup.
yeah. You could already mention. You could already like fill the money counters. Yeah, oh, Man City at home.
Yeah, you'd love that. I've just pulled it up. So to fill in the to be confirmed, it's Leeds versus Millwall or Dagenham and Redbridge. Leeds Millwall could be juicy, by the way.
That's just, well. Apparently, there's a bit of tasty business between Stoke and Cardiff as well. I was reading.
Oh, is
That
it?
could get a bit, yeah. or just they're both renowned for having a bit of a tear up.
Okay.
So be interesting.
Be interesting. This isn't saying that there's a game, but it's just saying Preston Wickham. I'm not sure why that's saying to be confirmed.
Mm.
Then you've got Mansfield or Wigan versus Fulham is the last one to be filled in there. So
Been to Mansfield Ground. Very nice.
oh, is
Very nice for a lower tier ground. Yeah. Team was shit, but the ground was all
it? Well, looking at that, there'll be at least a couple of non-Premier League teams left because you've got a few sort of all non-Prem draws: Stoke,
right.
Cardiff, Wickham, the Wickham game, Leeds game, and
Oh, come think of it, Van Nistelrooy going back to Old Trafford already would be
yeah,
interesting.
that'll be interesting. Yeah, and from what I've seen, I didn't watch the game. I saw it might have been on Match of the Day. It looks like he's got his front four playing really well at the minute. So that El Canoes, Didi, the lad they've got on loan from Brighton, and Vardy.
Yeah, I know the one you got. I know you.
Buonanotte,
But yeah,
him, yeah. So them four looked like they were playing really well.
that spells trouble for our relegation predictions the other day.
It does, just like it does with Daishi coming in. I mean, not Daishi, with Moisey going in at Everton.
Yeah. West Ham with Potter. It's all been a change this week, isn't it?
Yeah, anything could happen now. Anything could happen.
Shit.
Right, let's jump into it. So the bulk of tonight's show will be about FA Cup upsets from over the years. We're kind of going to take turns to talk about games. Stocky's picked 4. I've picked 4.
Well, that's pretty correct. I picked about 18, and you've
Yeah.
narrowed it down to 4.
Stocky picked 7, so I went 4 each because I think if we went 7 each, we could be here for about 3 hours. So I thought we'd narrow it down a bit. Stocky's up first. Talking about Orient 1, Arsenal 1 from February 2011.
This was a great one. I think
What?
I was there for this game.
That was going to be my first question before you got onto anything. Was you actually there?
I was there. Was there? It was surreal. Like, it was a long time ago. I've had many beers between now and then. So I just, because obviously West Ham's my team, but Orient are
Yeah.
a close second. And it was just mad to think, how the fuck are Orient drawing with Arsenal? So I had to look into it, and it weren't like a terrible Arsenal squad. So it still had like Arshavin, Alex Song, Sagnar, Gibbs, Bentner, before he got really bad, Bentner.
Yeah.
Like, there was the Nielsen as well, like Almunia was in goal. So it weren't like it was like youth team players. They were all like proper pros.
Yeah.
And it was what was his name? Jonathan Tehue's 89th minute equaliser, which was actually a really good finish.
Nice.
Slipped it underneath Almunia, and yeah. Ruzicki got the goal for Arsenal. It was I really like. I used to like Ruzicki, watching him play. He was a lovely footballer. But Orient had some stars on their bench as well, because on their bench that day they had Harry Kane.
Something just struck me. Didn't we go to the replay of this at the Emirates?
We certainly did. Your brother-in-law had corporate tickets, and we went and watched it.
I don't know why that completely slipped my mind, but
Did you not realise this? Why did you think I had to bring this up as well, especially as we went and watched the replay?
I'd completely forgot. And then just as you was talking about it, I was thinking back to when I went to Orient to watch Newcastle draw 1-1 there with a similarly strong team with what Arsenal went. And that must have been in about, I'm going to go 99, 2000.
I think you had the NTL kit.
Yeah, it was around that time. We had people like a guy called Cardoni playing and Pistoni at fullback and stuff like that. It was, and then I thought, because I remember that day, and what stuck with me that day is that the Orient fans completely nullified anything the Newcastle fans did singing wise. And I was thinking, I wonder if they did the same thing to the Arsenal fans. And then I remembered sitting with the Arsenal fans and just
Mm,
hearing the small batch of Orient fans up in the corner singing all game.
yeah, and we were doing our best not to join in.
Yeah.
Mm.
100%. Yeah. And I remember even when they went 1-0 up, the Arsenal fans were doing the old 1-0 to the Orient
Yeah,
until
yeah.
they got drowned out again. It was a weird atmosphere that game.
But yeah, very memorable cup for you. I think now, like, it's one of them goals that will always live on because you see it in quite a few montages
Yeah.
with like upset goals. Yeah, great game. Good. It was also good the first time to like see Orient at Emirates as well.
Yeah, this is one of the rare occasions that you'd get to see that, really. And I remember even going in and out of the ground. We were with the Orient fans when we was joining in with the singing there, which was really good. To be
Mm.
fair, that was a good evening. As much as it wasn't, didn't go the way we wanted it to, but
Hey, good day and a well-deserved day out for the players because there were some good players down there then.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Right. So on to one of Newcastle's now.
One of.
One of all four of mine are Newcastle, and all four of mine are within the last 15 years. So this is the furthest one away from now that I've done for Newcastle. So 2007 FA Cup. I think we drew 1-1 or 2-2 in the first leg. No, we were 2-1 up in the first leg, and Sebastian Larsson got sent off for Birmingham, and they equalised to take it to a replay. And then they came to St James's Park and did this.
Mm.
And it's just bonkers, absolutely bonkers to think. I think this might have been the third or fourth round as well. Because it says it there, third round replay. So
This wasn't off of Fenby Martins at Birmingham then, was it?
no, I don't think it was, to be honest.
I was going to say, that'd have been
Genuinely
sore in the
don't think
boots.
it was. But we had Stephen Taylor got sent off, I believe, in this game in the second half. But we was already 2 or 3 down at the time, so it wasn't like he got sent off and that completely changed the game. But they absolutely battered us, and yeah, losing at home to Birmingham City is pretty embarrassing and quite on point considering we've got Birmingham City away in the next round. So
Oh, what wonderful symmetry, mate.
yeah, I thought that was a good one to chuck in there. I can't really say much more about that one, to be honest.
What, without getting PTSD and starting to shake in the corner?
It's probably the one I remember the least about out of the ones that I've pulled up today. There was one more I was going to pull up, which was going to be the Orient 1-1. But as you had Arsenal Orient 1-1, I thought I'd leave that one out as I was
Fair
actually
enough.
in the stadium for it.
Funnily enough, when I was looking into well, as you can tell by my the list that I sent you, I had a few niche ones, and
Yeah,
even on the official FA website, they still had 2 Newcastle shots in the FA Cup, and that was the FA site that have access to every single game since time began, and there was
mate.
still 2 Newcastle games.
I'm telling you, I think I had 5 in my list, and 2007 still would have been the furthest away.
Oh,
So
blimey!
that is without the Orient 1-1. That is without drawing with Stevenage and having to beat them at St James's
Mm.
Park in the replay, and a couple of others. So yeah,
Mm.
it's not been good times for us in the FA Cup recently. But moving on to the most recent one out of any of our lists, which I'm guessing most people will remember who watched the FA Cup, Ipswich Maidstone. If I'm not mistaken, this is Georgia Lacobe's Maidstone, is it? Or have I got that wrong?
Yeah, Georgia Lacobe's made son. Former Orient player. God, this is linking so well tonight, as always. Um, just like I think modern football gets you so cynical, and you get so downtrodden with it that it's almost inevitable that the big teams are always going to win.
Yeah.
and just Maidstone were fantastic. I think I popped round to see my mum and dad that day, and even my mum was sitting there watching it, and like obviously she's like I don't know, she barely knows where Maidstone is most likely, but she was like she knew they weren't a football league team, and she was like, oh god, they're doing well. And I remember messaging you like, good finishing from Maidstone on that day, or was that the Everton game?
No, it was definitely. I'm pretty sure it was that one. One of them was like a little dink. I think I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, and yeah, just the reason why we love football, like in the game that's increasingly scientific fitness techniques going, just for a proper underdog side to beat. Well, they used to be like Europe, like UEFA Cup winners, played in the Prem. They were playing like Inter Milan not too many years before that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like just unreal. And it's like the heartwarming thing. Just when you think maybe the FA Cup is like losing the magic, so to speak. Yeah, just please, like as we may have gathered from my various chats on football, I can be a right miserable fucker about it. But this was like genuinely made me smile.
Yeah, 100%. The
This
magic
was
of the FA Cup can always make you smile, unless
yeah,
it's your team on the receiving end.
yes, that is absolutely 100% correct, as you will still prove with your next three picks.
Yeah. Well, that said, moving on to my next one. This one nearly gave me PTSD this morning because I wish I looked it up after we had played Bromley today. So this is within a month of Eddie Howe taking over. Another third round tie against Cambridge. Kieran Trippier's first game for the club. Lot of hope after the takeover. Eddie Howe's come in. There was a lot of hope going on. We played a pretty strong team as well. So looking into this morning, I looked at it, and then the team news came out for Bromley. So 4 of today's back 5 that started against Bromley started against Cambridge on this day. One of the mid, and there was two other players started that day that also played today. So our back 5 that day was Martin DeBrave green goal, Kieran
Hmm.
Trippier at right back, Emil Kraft right centre back, Shah left centre back, and Matt Target left back. The only one of them 5 that didn't start today was Emil Kraft.
Matt Target's still with you.
Yeah, Matt Target played today.
Shit.
He's just back from injury again. And then we had a midfield of Ryan Fraser, Sean Longstaff, John Joe Shelby, and Jacob Murphy, with St Maximin just off Joe Lennon up front.
That's mad. How the hell did you lose to Cambridge United?
To be fair, we lost, but I think they scored from their only shot on target. And
Oh, perfect.
we had like a bucket load of chances. It was silly how many chances we had, and they scored their one, and that was it. Simple as that. I think it was quite late as well. I think it was like 82 minutes or something like that they scored, and yeah, crazy. All hope was that at that point it was like, right, we're getting relegated, and this new hope of the owners coming in is completely gone. But then a few weeks later, we went and beat Leeds in the league, and everything sort of turned a corner from there.
Wow.
But yeah, that's
I did not remember. I did not remember. See, when you was talking in the week about like previous pain in the FA Cup, like the first two you've done, I don't even remember.
oh, mate, there's more. I'm guessing you're not going to remember the other ones either, but there's more. It doesn't get any better. I'm telling you.
I'm supposed I'm too used to remembering the West Ham ones. Funny enough, the big West Ham one I had, it turns out was the League Cup.
Ah, okay.
Because automatically what comes to mind was that Ian Dowie own goal against Stockport.
Oh, is that the brilliant header? Is it that one?
Yeah, but it turns out it was a League Cup replay, so
Ah, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I remember that
didn't
now.
qualify.
That was an
Yeah, it was a
excellent.
banger, weren't it?
Yeah. Right, on to the next one, which will make Sam rather happy.
Mm,
Burnley 1, Liverpool nil, 2005.
yeah, it's funny because I personally don't see this as like a giant killing as such. It was just more the thing that happened in the game because Burnley were Championship at the time; they hadn't been in the Prem yet.
Mhm.
But I find this memorable for one of the best own goals I have ever seen. This is the one where like a cross came into the box and Jimmy Traore just sort of almost Cruyff turned it into the bottom corner of his own net.
When you said it, I still didn't know what you was talking about. But now, as soon as you said Jimmy Traore, he sort of gets his feet stuck together, didn't he? And then creeps
Yeah,
it to his own net.
and he does like he drags it back into the corner of his own net.
To be fair, it was a well executed double drag back. I'll give him that.
It's just tremendous. And then I was having a further look into it. Um, they went on to like win multiple honors that season. I think they got to. It was the one where they got the Champions League final.
2005. Yeah, I think it was. To be fair.
Yeah. So um, yeah, from losing up at turf to winning
Yeah.
the Champions League. But yeah, I had to put it in just for that own goal. That's one of the great own goals.
Yeah, bonkers, really, isn't it?
Yeah, not the biggest shock in the world because a Champo side, you've got to be half decent to be in the Championship.
Yeah, you do, but it's Liverpool, isn't it? You don't really expect those kind of things. So it's still quite a bit of a big upset, to be fair.
But yeah, just one of the FA Cup's great own goals.
Yeah. Right, on to more pain. Me as a Newcastle fan. At
No,
least
don't
it's
remember
not at
this.
St James's Park this time, and it's in the fourth round instead of the third round.
Oh,
But as much as this one, we played a weakened side, and we were in the championship at the time as well. It was Benitez. This happened under Benitez, but we actually got battered. Like they had something like 20 shots on goal that day. It wasn't like they scored a couple of breakaway goals. They had something like 20 shots on target and just a little bit less of the possession. But again looking back at the team. I'm guessing you probably won't even know who some of these players are. So obviously you know Matt Sells is because he now plays in goal for Forest. Grant Hanley, James Rodriguez,
yeah, yeah.
Ashraf Lazar, Nasadia
Oh,
Haidara, Curtis Good,
oh
Isaac
no,
Hayden,
you've beat me with Curtis Good.
Dan Balaza.
This kid's on Twitter, and that
He came through our academy,
right.
and then we had a guy called Ben El Mahani, who I don't even know who that is. I've got no idea who that dude is. And then we
So,
had a Jose Perez and Mitrovic up top
oh, nice. Um, so fourth round that'd have been the furthest you got in the FA Cup
for
under
a long
the
time.
direct regime, weren't it?
Yeah, under Ashley, I think we only won 3 FA Cup games. And it's not like we were getting knocked out by Premier League teams because we weren't. Like most years, we were getting knocked out by teams in a thingy below. And I actually think all but one of the games we won was a replay.
Wow.
So we went to a replay in any of the games that we won, and most of the replays we still lost. To be fair, but only one of the games was a straight win in the third round without going to a replay. And weirdly enough, I think that might have been against Palace, who were actually a Prem team at the time.
Mate, you picked this subject yourself. Why are you putting yourself through it? I suppose you're living good now. You're living good, didn't you?
No, it's just when we spoke about it and you sent your list, I was like, I've got to do a bit of research if I want to chuck other teams in. But I already knew that I had a long list of Newcastle games to chuck in, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to chuck them
Mate, it's a good comedic thing.
in. Right, this is the one. Next one's the one West Ham game we've got on the list, which I genuinely know nothing about this game. It's 5 years before we were born, but
Yeah.
it's an
Well,
FA Cup final, so away you go.
yeah. Well, like I say, we're doing the upsets of the FA Cup, and this was the last time a team from outside the top division won the FA Cup.
Yeah,
1980, West Ham against Arsenal. All the doom and gloom to do with Newcastle, and I thought, sod it, I'm gonna do one where West Ham calls the upset. Yeah, 1980, Trevor Brooking with a diving header.
nice. Gotta love that.
Yeah, back when the FA Cup, I think, still meant a lot. Like in the country, not let alone like football supporters in the country. So when it used to be like the big day, you'd have football coverage from like 7 in the morning
Yeah.
to the game. No more of this league games after it and all that business. Yeah, and that's the last time we won the FA Cup. So I thought I'd chuck it in. Super Trevor Brooking. I mean, we've only been to one final since that.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's good going. To be fair.
Yeah. I, my dad. My dad had a video of the whole final when I was little,
Yeah.
and I've watched it once, but um, I think it was largely a bit of a shit game from what I can remember. But I only watched it when I was little. But obviously, I see that goal a lot,
Hmm.
being the last. Well, not anymore. Not the last trophy we won. But yeah, I don't think anyone's really been close. Any second division sides have been close. Did Millwall get to a final?
Did we have Mill Wigan
Wigan.
in the second of the championship when they got beat by City?
Yeah, because they got beat by City in a final, and they also beat City in a final, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think the final they won, they were in the Prem, and the
Um,
final they lost,
yeah,
they were in the Champo. But like you say,
yeah,
Millwall when they played Man United, and United had Rooney and Ronaldo, they were a Champo team then as well.
yeah. Millwall got into Europe, didn't they?
Mm.
Um, whilst vague on the subject, do you think, aside from outside the Prem, would ever win it again?
I think for that to happen, it would take one of the big boys to go down. So not one of the big boys, but someone you don't expect to get relegated, and for them to keep most of their squad together the next season. I
Mm,
think that would be the only way they'd have much of a chance.
mm,
But I think most of the bigger clubs now take it a lot more seriously from the very start of the competition.
mm,
Like regardless of who they've got, most teams will put out a strong side. So I think that's what makes it less and less likely. Like we've seen today, not hardly any Prem teams have gone out unless they've played Prem teams, and then apart from Brentford, even Tottenham at Tamworth, they can't say they played a massively weakened side.
mm.
They changes, but it was still a strong team.
What's quite funny, so I met one of my mates at the weekend who's a Burnley old Sam, and he was going to watch Reading Burnley, and even Burnley put out like what you'd call a second string side.
Hmm. Their
Um,
goalie chucked one in as well.
oh, Trafford, the one you're linked with.
Nah, there's the other
Oh,
goalie.
oh, so he's worse than Trafford. Fuck it, no.
Proper chucked one in.
um, yeah, unfortunately, these teams are sort of like, oh well, we're not going to get very far. We might as well just put the resis out, and it's a real shame
Yeah,
because these things can happen. I'd say that's football's one of the few sports where you can clearly be the weaker side, but somehow you can just dig in and just scrap. Like it doesn't happen very often. I think that's why we get so excited about it
yeah,
because they don't happen often. But when they do, it's magic, and it's even better when you do it to Arsenal in the final and win the cup.
yeah. 100%. Totally agree on that one.
That's funny enough. In my research, I know Arsenal have won it the most, but they've also had some fucking stinkers.
Oh yeah, they've had to like even you could even put today down as a bit of a stinker, considering Man United are rubbish and they were
Mm,
down to 10 for a big chunk of it.
yeah. I mean, honourable mention. Although I don't think you've put this one in, but did you put in Wrexham 2, Arsenal 1, where Arsenal were the reigning cup holders?
No, I didn't put that one in.
Yeah, Arsenal were in '92. Arsenal were the reigning FA Cup holders, and Wrexham were bottom of the old fourth division.
Oh wow. To be fair,
And
I probably should have looked into that a bit more because that sounds like it would have been a good one to put in.
yeah, someone's got a 25-yard free kick in that for Wrexham.
Oh
Mickey
wow.
Thomas, who was
You say Mickey
37.
Thomas?
What?
Say
Yeah,
Mickey Thomas.
not the Mickey Thomas, not
Oh,
like the one that, not the one that won it for Arsenal. No.
okay, fair enough. Just before we go on to the last game, I'm gonna let as that was the only one that was a cup final. And a winners, I thought I'd chuck that in there so you could have a little bit of a glory moment.
Thank you. I thought about buying that retro shirt, but that big collar really puts me off.
It's a nice shirt, though. To be fair,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a very very nice shirt.
Mate, if I
Uh,
wear that, I'm probably going to spill stuff down it.
I nearly doubled this one up with this what we spoke about earlier, the Stevenage, where we drew away at Stevenage. But I thought I'd let this one stand on its own because they beat us outright 3-1. 3-1 at Stevenage. So 2011, I probably should have looked a little bit deeper into this, but that would have been a pretty decent side for us. And I think we were our second stint in the Champo. Could have been.
That's not Grazioli, is it? No, that'd have been the 1-1.
That would have been the 1-1 Grazioli.
Right.
But yeah, 2011, pretty strong Newcastle team it would have been. Let me see if I can get it up quick just to get some reference to it because like it's bonkers that we've played Stevenage twice in the cup and we've gone to a replay once and they've beat us straight away the other time, which is pretty pathetic to be honest. And weirdly enough, as I said, I was at the Orient 1-1. I
Mm.
was at the Stevenage 1-1 as well.
Oh, so what we can safely say is you're a jinx.
Yeah, I should just not go to games, basically.
Mm.
So, Newcastle's team that day, and I said it was quite strong, it was probably full strength at the time.
Who you
So,
got?
Tim Krul in goal, Danny Williamson, Colaccini, Simpson, James Perch, that's Danny Simpson, the fullback, James
Oh, yeah.
Perch, Alan Smith, Kevin Nolan, Wayne Routledge, Barton, Lovenkrantz, and Leon Best.
Wow. I
And off
mean,
the bench came Cheick Tiote, but Cheick Tiote did get sent off.
oh, God.
He
He
came off.
came on and got sent off.
Yeah, and it was one that I was fuming about at the time, but then looking back, it was definitely a red card.
Oh, right. Okay.
100%. He went lunging in like a donut. And I think that might have only been at 1-1. So it wasn't like early on or anything, because he came off the bench, so it wasn't early. And yeah,
I mean, there's some all right players in there, but that front line's minging, mate.
they were both pretty good for us, though, to be fair. Like they weren't horrendous for us, them two. Love and France was decent. We would have been in the championship at the time. There, just to bear that in mind.
Oh,
But still, that's horrible.
yeah.
Like Stevenage would have been conference probably. League Two, Stevenage were at
League
that
Two.
time.
Yeah, I was
League
going to
Two.
say, yeah, they would have been league. I remember seeing them over in a couple of times. Then,
Yeah. They were free. They were 2-0 up as well.
oh
When
my
when,
word!
when Tiote got the red card, they were 2-0 up.
Oh my!
And then
See,
we pulled one back. I'm pretty sure it was just after 90 minutes. And then they scored a minute later.
oh,
So yeah.
I see. I only remember the Grazioli in the 1-1.
Yeah, yeah. Grazioli and I think Shearer got the other goal in that game. Or
Yeah.
maybe we rested Shearer for that game and Shearer scored both when they came back up to St James's Park. But like I said, mate, we've had some horrible, horrible times.
I'm starting to see why you was that generally like sort of talking down the Bromley game. Now
Mate, it would have been the
I understand.
it wouldn't have been Eddie Howe Newcastle-esque, although the Cambridge game was Eddie Howe.
Hmm.
But it would have been the most Newcastle thing ever, considering the run we've been on, to then go and make 11 changes against Bromley and end up getting beat. Like it would have been the most Newcastle thing you've ever seen in your life. As much as we call Tottenham Spursy, like that was my life. We were just never in a winning position to chuck it away. We were just getting beat by crap, and it was
Mm.
terrible.
Mm. I suppose if you go a bit further back than that, sort of like the 90s, you had the two FA Cup finals on the spin where you lost, didn't you?
Back to back, 98, 99, one to Man United, one to us. I think they were both 2-0 as well.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, pain.
Cursed
So much pain.
in the FA Cup.
Yeah. When I can't even remember, the last time we must have run it must have been back in like the 40s. And we've still won it about 5 or 6 times as well, funnily enough.
Mm.
Maybe
Well,
this year's the year to change it. You never know.
hey, maybe that League Cup would get you going.
That'll be it. We just need one. We need one to renew the winning ability, and I think we go on a little run. I've been saying it for ages.
How long till that second leg?
So the second leg, I believe, is the first midweek in Feb, off the top of my head.
Okay, so not too long away because I'd say you're in a good position, and Arsenal having a bit of a rough time in a minute. You don't really want them getting their legs back.
No, definitely not. Most definitely not. Yeah, it's Wednesday the 5th. Wednesday the 5th of Feb.
Interesting. Might have to try and see if I can meet you to watch that one.
Yeah, that should be a good one. To be fair, yeah. I just, as much as I don't want to say it out loud, I can't see them beating us by 3 goals.
Especially without reply.
Yeah, like they have to beat us. Like they have to beat us like 4-1 or
And depends
something
how
like
many corners they get,
that.
mate.
Yeah, no, I just can't see it. I genuinely can't see it. Or they've got to take it to pens, so they've got to beat us 3-1 or something like that to take it to pens.
Do away goals count?
No, I don't think away goals count in any competition anywhere anymore.
Oh. Oh, that's a shame. I knew they didn't count in Europe anymore. I didn't know it was doing that domestically as well.
No, I don't think they count in anything whatsoever. They definitely didn't count in the semis. Was it last year we got to the final? Or the year before? Whatever year we got to the final, they definitely didn't count in the semis that year.
Mm. Just refresh my memory. Who did you have for the cup this year? When we talked about it the other week with Samir.
For the FA Cup,
Yeah.
Man City.
Oh yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
Not much intrigue there, is it? We both want.
Mm.
Well, we don't. I mean, I don't want them to win it, but I always like being right.
Yeah, I always like being. I don't mind being wrong and stuff like this. If Newcastle go and win it, I'll be absolutely delighted. But I just can't see Pep wanting to go out with nothing this season. So I just think he's going to go big for it.
Fair enough.
Yep. Right. So last little bit of the evening, as we're not going to have time to do a parliament before midweek Premier League games.
Oh yeah.
This week we have the games in the middle of the week back to the Prem. A few juicy little ties in there. You've got Forest Liverpool, top of the table. Chelsea Bournemouth.
Yeah. First v second.
Hmm?
First v second.
Yeah. So you've got some good games. North London Derby.
Who could outbarrass the other one?
Yeah, so you've got some nice little games in there. You must be slightly looking forward to West Ham Fulham. I know you've got injuries, but you've just got Potter in, so home game.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think there'll be some good voice in the crowd. Hopefully, a bit of renewed optimism. I'd say the one bright spark from the weekend, well, Friday's game was young Ollie Scholes getting his first start for the club, and funny enough, picked up man of the match.
Yeah, I can't say I'd heard of him before Saturday, but I was
Mm.
very impressed with what he did.
Yeah, do you know what? He was one of the. Do you know what? Funny enough, a couple of years ago, West Ham won the under 18 FA Cup,
Yeah,
and we won. Well, it really sounds like I'm picking on Arsenal tonight. Oh, what a shame. We smashed Arsenal 6-1 at the Emirates,
glorious.
and I actually went over there, and he he's played. He started a game in Europe actually when we was in the Conference League. I think he played in Cyprus or somewhere like that, and he done all right. And he didn't really get another look in, really with Moyes. And Lopetegui brought him on a couple of times this year, and yeah, Potter gave him a start, and I thought he looked really good.
Yeah, he did. I thought he looked good.
So
Has he come through the academy, or was he just
yeah,
someone you brought in?
nah, he's proper academy.
Okay,
Because like sometimes someone's released
yeah,
and you pick them up and then they like class the draw. Nah, he's proper academy.
okay, decent.
So that give us a bit of optimism. I wouldn't be shocked if there's more youngsters coming into the team because we've got so many injuries at the minute.
Yeah,
Um, be interesting to see what Potter Potter lines up with, what formation, because he went for a fairly bog standard 4-2-3-1. Um,
I think that
Paqueta,
suits you guys though, doesn't it? Really, I think
mm,
legs in the double pivot, Paqueta in the 10, a
mm.
little bit of pace either side of him, and then whoever he
Oh,
sticks on top.
well, now Fulkrug's injured. I can't see Danny Ings starting. Um, Lovely footballer, but he just really has got many legs, and he doesn't look a confident man in front of the goal. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be half surprised if we start with Paqueta in a false nine sort of thing.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm.
That'd be interesting.
Who's you
What's
got? Oh, Wolves at home. You got to be expecting 3 points from that.
Yeah,
No
I'm
Cunha,
gonna say
I
yes.
believe.
Huh?
No Cunha. He's
Oh,
suspended
Cunha's
for.
back.
Oh, was he back? Oh,
Yeah, he served his 2 games. He served his second game this weekend, so he served his 2 games. Cunha's back, but it's Wolves at home. We should be winning it.
yeah,
We should
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Newcastle fans are crazy. They have this sort of mentality that because we've now won 8 on the trot, we're due to lose. But and I kind of get it, but it's Wolves at St James's Park. I don't expect to lose to anybody at St James's Park. To be honest with you, when
Hmm.
we're on form, we shouldn't lose to anybody at St James's Park. I don't care
Hmm.
because we're one of the best 5 or 6 teams in the league.
Mm.
You don't expect to lose home games when that's the case. When you're expecting to qualify for the Champions League, you expect to at least draw your home games. And every now and again, you will lose one, but you shouldn't go into games expecting to lose. So I reckon we win it uh, by one. I'm saying 2-1, maybe.
Just to chuck another interesting one there, Chelsea have had a bit of a wobble recently, and they're playing a Bournemouth side who everyone's really rating this year, playing some good stuff.
Yeah, Bournemouth are on fire at the minute, so that'll be another interesting. There's a few interesting, like even Brentford City. City are just turning the corner. Brentford are good at home.
Well, until yesterday, losing to Plymouth.
Yeah, I haven't looked at their team, so I don't know how much they rotated, but I'm guessing they have ever so slightly, but still, they wouldn't have wanted to lose to
Um,
to Plymouth.
are, are all these games on TV? Do you know, or is it just a select because it's a Sky one?
I think it is just a select few. I don't
Okay,
think. Oh no! So it's I've just clicked back onto the other screen, so it's a TNT. Everything's on TNT Sports.
okay. So, well, I won't. I'd like to watch Forest Liverpool, but I'm going to West Ham, obviously. I might watch the North London derby. We might have a bit of a tear up,
Yeah,
because you'd say they're probably both managers feeling the heat.
mm. Yeah. They're definitely both under pressure. hundred
It's
percent.
it's like well, I know Tottenham are still in it, but that's to go to extra time against like fifth, sixth tier side. That's not really.
And it's
That's
not
not.
even. I don't even think they're a good fifth, sixth tier side. I think they're like 15th in their league or something like
Yeah, and obviously I know like Arsenal played Man United, but Even with the refs' help, from what I read, they still couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, well, for Sam to come out and say it's one of the most one-sided refereeing performance he's seen, which was in Arsenal's favour, and then after the game he said they were playing 12 against 10 at the end,
Mm,
that says a lot.
yeah, yeah. So there are because I know you'd say, well, I know a lot of people look at a derby and go, well, it can go both ways. You know, you can't judge someone in a derby game; they're a bit mad. But supporters care about a derby game. If you have a really poor performance, that can really start to swing it the other way.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Totally agree on that.
Life's not good, and then you lose to your arch rivals.
Yeah, I actually think that if it's a bad, like a proper bad result, if they get beat by 2 or 3 either way, we might see one of them go.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I think it's more likely for Ange to go because the fans will start turning, and always when the fans start turning loudly, Levy makes the call because it's either him or the manager, so he pulls the trigger.
Hmm.
So I could see that happening.
Hmm. We'll have to ask our good friends on Tamworth Kings TV tomorrow night.
See what they feel about the game. Do you want to do a couple predictions before we go?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, then we'll do both our games: Forest, Liverpool, and the North London derby. Why not?
All right.
So start from the top. Your game's the first one. So West Ham, Fulham.
All right. My heart says we'll scrape a 1-1. My head says Fulham will win 2-1 due to our crippling injuries.
Okay, fair play, fair play. I would go score draw in that. I'm gonna go 1-1.
All right. All right.
Gonna go 1-1. Forest, Liverpool.
3-2 Liverpool.
Ah, okay, okay. I'm going a little bit more comfortable. Liverpool. I reckon they're gonna win 2-0.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon they're going to win too. I'm still not fully sold on Forest. It's maybe because I don't watch them enough. But the games I have watched them in, I have not been impressed.
Mm. Well, I saw. Do you know what? I saw Van Dijk truly stressed the past couple of games with what was around him,
Yeah.
and Chris Wood's on form, and they've just got them wingers that are hard to deal with. I said I can't remember if it was us or somewhere else, but I was saying about how Robinson's not in his best form, and Alanga won't give him a minute's peace.
No.
I think Liverpool have the quality. It's back to the league. They'll be switched on. Forest was scare them, but I just fancy him to have a bit too much firepower. Although it would definitely have to come from Salah because whoever's playing in the central positions, I don't think they'll get much change than two centre halves.
I think it depends on who he goes with. Because if he goes with, say, Jota, who drops off, I reckon he will get joy.
Mm.
But if he goes with a Nunez, he's going to get nothing out of him.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm not really sure who Forest they have. Anderson in midfield, don't they? Your old boy.
Yeah, it's normally Anderson and Yates with
Yeah.
Gibbs White just in front.
Gibbs White can trouble anyone really. At the time, I thought 40 million's a hell of a lot of money.
Hmm.
Like it was kind of bizarre money, I thought, but he's really done well for him, and he really is.
Yeah, he's a. I always rated him as a decent player.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He was
like
never a
as
bad
much as
player.
he is now doing well at Forest, which he's probably playing better than I thought he would, to be honest. But he's still not someone that I'd look at and think we could do with him in our midfield enough. I still think he'd be like
Oh,
sixth
fair
choice.
enough.
I think he'd be
Yeah.
fifth, sixth choice for us still. So
Mm.
if there was one to cash in on, it was him. The only other one who plays for us a decent amount, who I would have cashed in on over him, would have been Longstaff,
You wouldn't have got that.
and we wouldn't have got anywhere near that.
Wouldn't have got half.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. He could end up at like an. I'm hoping he ends up at like an Everton or something like that. Longstaff, to be honest, we need to. He was embarrassingly bad today at times.
Oh,
Embarrassingly bad.
all right.
Where
So
we
you'll go next.
Oh, I know I said buy one a minute ago. I'm actually going to go buy two. I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. All right, I was going to say 2-0.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I think they'll get one. I'm not quite sure why I think they'll get one, to be honest, because Botman's back and we're pretty solid. Don't really concede many shots. But I don't know, I've just got a feeling they're going to get one. As long as Isak's not injured, because he came off early against Arsenal. I'm not sure if it was tactical or if he felt something. I'm hoping he didn't feel something. But
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
he plays, we win by two, I'm saying. If he doesn't, we win by one. And then finally, North London Derby.
Desmond, they'll both be unhappy.
I am going to go rogue. I am going to
Tottenham win.
go a 4-1 Tottenham.
Raw.
I've just got a feeling they're going to do something very, very Tottenham and show up. And I just think Arsenal were just going to fall apart a bit, to be honest.
Mate, I wouldn't be one to pry my nose into your finances, but if you've got a spare couple of quid and you really fancy 4-1 Tottenham, you would get some sweet moolah back on.
Yeah,
Four. You'd get 4-1 any away win, let
yeah,
alone
you'd get decent money on any 4-1 away win.
gonna get
I
that
just I
takeaway
just
of that,
this
mate.
feeling. I've just got a feeling about it, and I don't know why.
Oh my god. Big
It just
call.
feels
Big
like
call.
I said it to my boss the day when we left the office when they played Liverpool, and he was like, "Oh, we're going to get smashed," and I was like, "No, you'll go out and win because it's just a very Tottenham thing to do, and it just feels like it's going to be another one of them."
Did you watch that game? The Tottenham Liverpool game?
Bits didn't really watch much of it.
Felt a bit like a testimonial.
Oh, did it?
Oh yeah, everyone had the handbrake on.
Hmm. I heard that Liverpool just weren't at it. I know, I
Oh,
did hear that.
not or no intensity to their play. I don't think Tottenham get that lucky in the second leg.
Oh no, I don't think they do at all. I think Liverpool tear them apart. To be honest.
Mm. But yeah, I don't know. I reckon some ways both sides really want to win it, so there'll be some intent. But I reckon they'll both be pretty shaky. So I just see a few goals.
Hmm.
Like I say, I've been saying all year, I proper rate Kulusevski, but I don't trust Tottenham at the back. Well, they ain't got no players. They keep saying
Yeah, but then Arsenal can't attack. They're
no.
rubbish from open play.
There again, you'd like to think they'd profit. I mean, Tottenham have got like the kidding goal, isn't it? It just signed. So
He actually looks decent.
does he?
Yeah, he actually looks pretty decent, to be honest.
They paid a bit more than I thought because when they were like, "Oh, we're signing an unknown Czech kid," I'm like, "Oh, what, like a few $100,000 or something?" It was like £12 million.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually from watching him. I think he'll play even when Ficario's back.
Really?
He
I,
looks good. He looks good.
well, I'll do what I can to try and tune in that one then because I always like to see like more. Even if they do play for Tottenham, I still like to see players that I've not watched before. I always find it quite interesting, so it'd be nice to see what he can do
Yeah,
myself.
he does. He looks a decent little keeper. Maybe he's just having a bit of form because he's buzzing because of the move, but he looks a proper good keeper to me, to be honest.
Oh, nice,
All
interesting.
round, well, not even like he's a good shot stopper, but crap on crosses, and he can't kick. He seems to be pretty proficient at everything.
Oh, maybe we'll have to ask the boys. I'm sure Marley can get involved in a goalkeeper debate.
Ah, yeah, yeah. We'll have to ask the question tomorrow, see what they think. Maybe I've missed something, but he looks decent to me.
Nice. Well, we'll have to. What if we manage to get a midweek pod out next week? We'll have to reconvene and see how we get on with our predictions.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I haven't written these ones down. I'll just have to watch back and write them down at some point so that when we do
I don't worry about. I'll remember them. You know me. I'm good for memory.
it. You'd remember what we predicted 15 years ago, but you're not going to remember this come Thursday, Friday.
I'll be in my PTSD for West Ham Fulham. Jimenez hat trick.
Yeah. Well, we'll potentially, if we can figure out a time that we're both together, be back with the Parliament with maybe one or two guests either Thursday or Friday this week. But you can catch us tomorrow on Tamworth Kings TV. And if you don't catch us there, we'll be back here next Sunday evening for the next subject, which we haven't decided on yet. But For those that have joined, thank you very much. As always, like, share, subscribe. Have a wonderful evening.
See you later.